G'day, I'm Evan and welcome to Gamey. Joining me on the show this week, he's a comedian, he's a ninja, and an aspiring hand model. It's Dave Callan.
Wow.
Nice hands.
I glued them there. Accidentally.
She's a comedian and a moderately successful candelabra owner. It's Kate Dehnert. And you may have heard his podcast, Filthy Casuals, and he was also a failed knee model. It's Adam Knox.
Case in point.
I feel like I balked the delivery of that. Do you think I could do that
Borched.
I'm not banging my knee again.
We botched the word bort.
better? Balk. Isn't that a word? Balked?
You botched.
Balked.
Isn't balk a
Botched or
word?
balked. Yeah, balked and
To
botched.
balk at something, to go like, ha, you botched
No,
that.
that's balking, isn't B-A-U-L-K.
Yeah.
Oh, I
It's
thought
B-A.
you were saying B-O-R-K. Like
That's what I
balking.
was saying. What is that?
B-O-R-K,
Yeah.
bork.
Bork,
That's a
bork.
made-up word.
Okay.
That's what the Swedish chef says.
Yeah. Bork, bork, I am doggo.
And Bjork has a J, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. Well, have you ever thought to yourself, I have too many controllers?
Yes.
Well, this might be the product for you.
Mom,
This is-
Dad, my wife.
The infomercial is just someone with all the controllers walking through, getting it in their eggs.
I wish I didn't have to constantly transport these.
Throwing a cat in the bin so there's more room for the controllers.
I can see the late night advertisement now.
So this thing is the all controller. It's on Kickstarter. Costs about
Sounds like a
$80
Superman
to
villain.
start with. The idea is that it's one controller that's supposed to be able to control all your consoles, well, except your Nintendo ones apparently. So it's your PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, Xbox One, your PC, Mac, Linux, Android, iOS. It's supposed to cover most of those bases. You sound skeptical, Adam Knox.
It just probably won't be good. That's why I'm skeptical.
Good.
Is that
Define
because
good.
it's on Kickstarter?
Yeah, and like if you look at it, I don't know. I just imagine the build quality of it won't be there. Just every time there's one of these sort of things, they're never as good as the official ones. Really,
Hey, Adam, is your mug half full or half empty?
it's really depressing in there as well.
It's going to have to be good, isn't it, to replace the actual standard controllers for each console? It's going to have
great,
to, yeah.
Right? Like,
And the ones that are for this generation are the best ones that have been made so far.
they're so
Yeah,
good,
yeah,
and they're putting so much effort into making them so good, right?
Yeah. And there's the Elite ones, and the PS4 is the PS4 Pro controller, and the Xbox is the Xbox Elite controller. And I
Yeah.
think they'll be hard to beat by a coverall like this.
Yeah, that's right.
And
yeah,
with this
so-
little screen in it too, the battery's going to drain really quickly.
Yeah. Battery life is a question, that's for
Yeah.
sure. But you only got to charge one controller instead of half a dozen or
Yeah,
however many the modern gamer has.
But I don't have to
sitting
charge
on the
half a
top.
dozen constantly.
Right.
Like this one will be wired, but into an outlet.
Plus, if you're into fighting games and driving games and you want to have the peripherals, you're still going to have your steering wheel and you're still going to have your fight stick.
Yeah.
And so you're still going to have a whole bunch of wires and crappy things lying around.
And these sort of things have existed before. This isn't new. Like there were controllers for like you could play the Saturn and the PS1 and the N64 all at the same time.
Yeah.
And they were fucking garbage all of the time.
Except for the KFC box controller.
Oh, that's great, of course.
Pretty good.
Now, here's an interesting game. Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice. It's a hack and slash action game, but it's a bit different to other hack and slash action games.
In what way, Evan?
Yes,
Well-
do tell.
Well, for starters, it basically just throws you straight in.
Yeah.
There's no tutorial, there's nothing that sort of gives you any indication of how to play or what to do at all, really. You sort of start off in this sort of scenario where you're, I was going to say sailing. She's not sailing, that's not sailing.
She's paddling.
Canoeing? Kayaking?
Kayaking in a
Sailing.
hollowed
It
out
looks like a
log.
log, yeah.
She's in a log, going through, and just voices circling around you, telling you all sorts of negative things, whispering in your ear.
Yeah, and I think people have enough trouble with kind of the negative self-critic voices that we have in our daily lives without having actual ones in our ears while playing a game. While we're trying to bloody relax and get away from that constant kind of negative self-talk.
That controller's not going to be any good.
You should get the one that's applicable to all consoles coming out soon.
This looks cool. It's about mental illness.
It's
Is that the idea?
You're playing a character who has psychosis.
Right.
So mental illness is a big theme in the game. Like they've gone to a lot of effort to make sure that they're depicting that accurately.
Even to the extent that they actually hired a mental health care professional to advise, yeah?
Yeah, that's right. And it's pretty chilling, I guess, playing that
I believe
opener and
creepy AF is what the kids would say.
and the way they've recorded the sounds, they've used binaural microphones, so it's sort of this, it really sounds like it's around you.
Yeah.
And very close to you.
Oh, the sort of 3D location-y audio.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not one of them.
The game came on and it said it's best played with headphones, and I cracked out my brand new, I've got 7.1.
Yes.
I think you'll find.
How
Surrounds.
many ears do you have?
Yeah, right, that's a good point.
I'm ready.
I'm a special alien. And it just, all these voices are coming from different directions, and they're all saying really profoundly creepy things, telling you you're no good constantly. At one point it says, there's no victory against the darkness, which is a terrible message for a game to have. There's always light and shade in games, and this one is incredibly, the sense of dread is relentless, and there's no light in this game. I found it quite difficult to play, particularly late at night, with lots of dead bodies impaled on wooden stakes, and like there's not just one or two. You almost become used to them, like they're part of the flora of the environment. You're like, oh, there's another dead person tree.
Is the game itself fun?
I found the environments beautiful, a bit like. Yeah, the wonderful environments and the lighting effects are great, but that's not the game, is it really? That's just how it looks.
The engine, yeah.
Yes.
It does look great. It looks stunning, really.
It's the best dreadlock animation in the history of gaming. Just her dreadlocks move so realistically.
Get out
Actually,
of here, Horizon.
yeah, oh yeah,
And,
slightly better than Horizon, I would say. And she's got like this suede vest on, a bit of kind of fur. She kind of looks like a girl I saw at Rainbow Serpent Festival. In fact, the whole thing is best enjoyed like you're at Rainbow Serpent and you're a hippie chick who's just taken some really bad acid. In fact, I would have stood up and applauded if you wake up in the chill-out tent going, who sold me that tab? I'm going to fucking kill them. Where are they? Want my money back.
What do you think about the combat in this game compared to other hack and slash games?
It's a bit simplified. Like it's a bit like the Dark Souls combat in that you've got a light strike, a heavy strike, and a kick, and then you've got a roll out of the way button, evade kind of button, and then you've got a parry kind of blocky button. And so it's the same as Dark Souls, but it's just without the kind of the subtlety of it. It's really dumb and basic, and you can just get in there and hack and slash.
Is it as challenging and as relentless as Dark Souls?
No, it's the enemies aren't as well thought out. They're kind of really dumb. Their AI is pretty bad, and they behave all in the exact same way, except for the boss fights, which are not that interesting. And the way they made them challenging, instead of making them really intelligent bosses, is they just made them go on for way too long. So it just goes on and on and on. You just learn the patterns really quick. There's some interesting puzzles involved where you kind of line up glyphs with like different pieces of the landscape. So you have to get to a certain vantage point where all those bits of the landscape line up to a glyph overlay that you've got in your mind, which is kind of like a variation of the Arkham games. They had those Riddler puzzles.
Yeah.
You had to line up the question marks by getting to a certain vantage point. Yeah,
Now it looks
Well,
like,
hang on.
yep.
Yeah, boom.
Now it looks like your face is a pen. Puzzle solved.
Well, okay, so the combat isn't great. Neither are the bosses.
You got annoying voices in your head.
Yeah, is it more about just trying to get through your day?
Yeah.
It's hard. A lot's going on. Just desperately trying to get through my day here.
Yeah, it's about getting through the first day of Rainbow until the acid wears off. Basically.
Oh, here, there we go.
Yeah, there's a
So
bit
this
of a
is,
fight.
what do you think, Kate, about these sorts of games where it's less about like having fun playing and more of it's like, it's more of an experience, right? Like it's more about...
I think it's cool in terms of experience. I think that's great. Not for me. Not for me. I like to play a game to relax and not to be like, whoa, at the end of it. So, I mean, I'm a fairly simple person and gamer.
It is nice. And that, like,
I don't know. It was frightening. The bits that I saw of this, with, like
intense, right?
where you lost the fight and then more stuff happened to you, was like, this is my worst nightmare.
Yeah, right. When you die, it goes, the dark rot will grow higher each time. And basically, there's no energy gauge or health bar, but that kind of weird tar just like slowly goes up and it gets to your neck, and once it gets to your face, that's it, game over. It wipes your save file, I understand, and
You
yeah.
have to start from scratch.
Yeah, how's that for a relaxing game, Kate?
Yeah.
For
No,
you chill out time?
no.
Sounds stressful.
It's horrifying. And they hold, I think that I do quite like, I'm going to be honest, I know nothing about how games are made. I like the way that the direction.
They stuck this woman inside of this little box.
I liked her face. I liked her hands. Some good trees in the mix. I like that she arrived on a log. I like that.
Very Banjo-Kazooie.
She's clearly good at piecing some things together when she needs to. But yeah, they held her with the way that she died. It was very visceral. It was like, it reminded me of that David Fincher film about the Zodiac killer.
Zodiac.
That's the one. Again, I am a simple person.
Remember
I've
David
only seen
Fincher's Killer?
I've seen a snippet of that was so visceral that I'm so unhappy that I saw it, and it brought back memories of that, when the moment where she died in this.
Did you ever
And
play?
they really hold it. It's like you can feel the dirt and the blood and the texture.
Did you ever play either of those most recent Tomb Raider games?
No,
Yeah,
couldn't
they're
get
the
through
same
the first part.
It's fucking weird at some point where like there's these situations where it's quite difficult to die in that way, but they've gone, let's make her impaled on this bit and really fucking show
Yeah,
it.
that's graphic, right?
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
she falls into the water and like hits her head on some reef and then just like falls unconscious and slowly falls down the water drowning. It's like so brutal and horrible, and it comes out of nowhere. I don't think it's a good thing to put into your subconscious whatsoever. Brutal visual deaths.
I like Mario. My happy little friend, Mario.
What's wrong with collecting coins and jumping on turtles?
I never want them to make a graphic Mario game. I never want
be amazing.
him to snap his leg and be like, ah, my leg!
That's the spasm at the ball.
I'm not okay with it.
So, Telltale Games have released the latest installment in their Batman: The Telltale series called Batman: The Enemy Within.
The enemy within is the biggest enemy of all.
So is this all just about him going to therapy?
Yeah.
This actually flows on rather well from the previous
In
game.
the suit though, because he doesn't want to
Yeah.
reveal who
Oh,
he is.
yeah, yeah.
So he's like,
Right.
I need a therapist.
Why do you keep bringing up my parents? It's nothing to do with them. They're dead.
Don't make me go over that again.
So, this follows on from the Batman: The Telltale series. Did you play any of that? They're basically point and click stories.
Modern versions, yeah, essentially it's, pan and scan, kind of find something to interact with on the screen and press a button in essentially a QuickTime event. That's all it is. I mean, I think the clue's in the title of the company that make these. They're Telltale games, so the telling of the tale comes before the game. I think there's not much game really, to be honest. It's just a tale. They're just telling a tale, and you
Yeah.
get to interact with it in a very minimum kind of.
Yeah, in terms of that actual, like, as you can see there, it's like you're working out the enigma puzzle in this first chapter, and it's essentially about press this button, move your controller or your analog stick that way, and so it's like these almost token interactions, I suppose. But I think it does help you engage more with the story. But particularly what's more interesting about it, rather than just watching a film or something, is the decisions that it forces you to make throughout. And it forces you to make them reasonably quickly as well.
Yeah, it does.
When it comes to, so you'll be having a conversation with someone, they'll ask you a question, you'll need to respond to it. You're given, three or four responses, and you've got maybe 3 seconds to sort of come up with an answer to pick one.
Yeah, you got that line just kind of disappearing in the middle, putting the pressure
and they can be pretty big. Some of them seem like, oh, that's not going to come back later, or that's not going to affect things too much.
Chicken fish. Which one do I kill?
But then you get to other, pretty early on,
You're strangling the fish too. It's out of water. It's going to happen either way. If anything, the moisture from your hands is extending its life.
But yeah, pretty early on, you're forced to make decisions about whether you lie to the police and stuff like that. So I found that, as a player, I found that kind of intimidating, having to make these decisions like, oh, what should I do? This is like moral choices
It's
that you have to
effective.
make as Batman.
Yeah.
And that obviously affects where the story goes. You forming relationships with characters.
And people complain with the Telltale games that like, well, actually, the choice that you made didn't have a huge effect on the story. But if you're kind of throwing your suspension of disbelief away a little bit, and in the moment, it does. The effect of it is, effective. Because it's that pressure and it's that speed, and you
Yeah.
put yourself in the head, because the writing's generally quite good in these Telltale
Yeah,
games.
yeah.
Yeah, and this is the second season of the Batman, and when they do multiple seasons, they get you to load up a save file of your last season. So
Yeah, so they can carry on.
yeah, those decisions actually do carry over seasons as well.
Not
for
for
you.
me.
This sort of game not for you?
No.
Is it
Not
specifically?
many games are for me, frankly.
Is it because of Batman or just because of like?
It is actually. I've never really gotten into the superhero thing, frankly, as well. But
It's Stanley, not frankly, but continue.
I don't know. Would you call LucasArts games this sort of style?
Yeah, sort of. They were like the old-fashioned, like Monkey Island and stuff.
Full
I
throttle.
mean, I like
Yeah.
those.
Telltale
I
did a
don't
series
know.
of Monkey Island.
I don't know. I like those. I don't like this. I just feel like I'm like A, B, C,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Who cares? Doesn't make a difference.
Well, ultimately the story's got to carry it then. Like you got to be interested in what's actually happening in the story. And it's not necessarily it sort of deviates from canon quite a bit. I
Yeah.
mean, the Batman it's a good long history anyway, so there's all sorts of different versions of events. But it's not anchoring itself to any telling this happened before, so it's sort of making up bits and pieces.
It's almost like every medium that tells the Batman story, whether it be TV, film, or kind of video games, and the different companies that do the video games all have a different almost lore.
Yeah.
And they kind of, this one, for example, they've made, it's already happened, so it's not a spoiler, but they've made Bruce Wayne's father a bad guy, like he was a big mafia underworld boss or something previously, and so that's never been,
That's cool though. Fuck with
Yeah,
it. Like, do your own thing.
And like Batman met the Joker in Arkham,
Yeah, right.
in prison.
Yeah,
Also, this Batman, vegan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. That's a profound alteration of the lore.
Yeah.
it would just be wrong to dress like a bat.
Yeah. Gotham
Yeah.
needs to be crime and gluten free. That is my platform.
Definitely.
Also, yeah, he talks like that. He's like, hey, everyone, cut it out. I've had it up to here with this.
Ow!
Does he have gluten villains? Like,
Yeah. The pita bread. I was trying to think of Riddler.
The glutenator.
There's got to be at least one good one, and we're not moving on until we find it.
Just want you to know that gluten-free and veganism are two different things.
Yeah, but Batman's after both of them. Okay, he's a
Okay.
complex character.
I think
The
I might be
penguin
Batman.
is you don't have to change that one because that's just an animal that he won't eat. I'll think of a gluten-free one by the end.
I won't eat
Great.
it, but I will punch it in the face.
Yeah,
okay, Adam will be distracted till the end of the show.
but he is also lactose intolerant. He just hasn't found it out yet
Yeah,
because
he's a vegan.
Yeah. But if it rains milk one day somehow, then you go, get really sick.
No, what's this mystery substance?
Yeah.
If he's like fighting at like a milk factory and like like he fires his grappling hook into it and it just rains down on him.
Falls into a vat of milk.
Oh, yeah.
I wish this was acid.
Comes out like Two-Face.
Grain instead of Bane is the best
That's
I've done
good.
so far. Thank
That's
you very
very
much.
good.
Scarecrow also has hay in his face. That's the second. That's the backup.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, move on.
They tell a good tale.
That's where the name comes from.
Well, on that note, that's it for this week. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I think last time I said subscribe every Monday. Just subscribe once. There's new episodes every Monday. Just want to make that clear.
Don't have to resubscribe at the end.
No, just did it the one time. And you can find us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram as well. We're Gamey Show. So go and find us for extra bits and pieces throughout the week.
And only $20 for my erotic Snapchat. Today only.
And that's worth it. That's good value.
Lifetime membership. Saucy snaps every Tuesday.
Bye-bye. It's good. They get this show on Monday and then the saucy snaps on the Tuesday.
That's what they get.
That's very good.
Took her for a drink on Wednesday.